If you're looking at CoreSignal alternatives, you probably already spot a problem. They provide 75 million company and 839 million employee profiles. So we can say that they have a strong database, multiple endpoints, and a huge file schema. But what I realize is that some files are already dated on arrival. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 different data providers. I'm going to compare CoreSignals to its 4 alternatives: CompanyEnrich, CrustData, People Data Labs, and Apollo. We're going to evaluate them based on 3 main things that actually matters when you're picking a data provider: what endpoints you get, how much it costs, and what the coverage really looks like. Let's hop in. The first alternative to CoreSignal is CompanyEnrich, which also provides company and people level data under one API suite. As you do with CoreSignal, you can use CompanyEnrich as your full B2B data layer to power your platforms, AI agents, workflows, or GTM operations. Let's have a closer look at its products. With company APIs, you can have Enrichment API, Search API, and unlike CoreSignal, you will have similar companies API with CompanyEnrich. And when it comes to people side, you can have People Search API, Email Enrichment API, Reverse Email Lookup, and finally, Company Headcount API. To have a quick note here, this endpoint helps you track historical employee counts and department level workforce. And one more thing worth mentioning here is that CompanyEnrich also has a hosted MCP server. So if you're building with AI agents on Claude, Cursor, VS Code, or Raycast, you don't have to write custom tool wrappers around their API. You just drop in a JSON config snippet with your existing API key, and the agent can call enrichment, search, lookalikes, people search, and reverse email lookup as a native tool. So we can say that CompanyEnrich is ready for AI agents. When it comes to coverage, CompanyEnrich provides 30 million verified companies with 170 million professional profiles. But what is the best part here is that you know that you are not getting raw, fake, or dummy data, because they firstly collect 900 million records from web crawls, registries, and partners, and they run a verification and cleaning process on this record, so we always get verified and accurate data. And when it comes to coverage and data quality, it's not just about the statements, but real studies show the results clearly. So CompanyEnrich has a study submitting 349 domains into Company Enrichment API, and you see that they have returned 236 out of total, which makes them sit as 67% find rate. On pricing, CompanyEnrich has 3 main packages starting from 49 amount. And when we look at the per credit cost, we see a big difference even with the starter or the higher plans when we compare to CoreSignal. Their per credit costs are much higher when compared to CompanyEnrich, and their costs also decrease as you go higher in the plan. They also have a free trial with 500 credits, and credit rollovers are also included in the higher plans. The second alternative to CoreSignal is People Data Labs, which is also one of the API-friendly providers in this comparison. When we look at its data sets, we see that they also provide person and company level data, and they are also launching job posting data. In person level, you can access Enrichment API, Search API, and Identify API, which was lacking CoreSignal and CompanyEnrich. It's dedicated API for identity risk management. When it comes to company side, they also provide the general APIs like Enrichment and Search. And apart from the main APIs they have in company and people, they also have job posting search API in beta. It enables you to search and filter for job postings that you are looking for, including location, salary, title, company name, and more. When it comes to data coverage and quality, we could only find the data accuracy documentation from PDL, which explains the strategy and how they measure quality in data sources. So we can again look at the benchmark from CompanyEnrich to see how their find rate looks like. Again, same methodology. They submitted 349 domains into PDL's Enrichment API and it returned 210 out of the total. This makes them sit at 60% find rate, relatively lower than CompanyEnrich. On the pricing, PDL follows a different way by categorizing their pricing packages into two for person-level data and company-level data. So if you need both at the same time, you can now subscribe to one plan as you can do with CoreSignal and CompanyEnrich and access both. But here you need two different subscriptions. And as CoreSignal and CompanyEnrich has, they don't offer much packages for different volumes and needs. They have one self-service package and the other requires custom pricing. The third alternative to CoreSignal is CrustData, which is one of the more architecturally different providers in this comparison. When we look at their data API suites, we see that they categorize it into 6: company, people, B2B, firmographics, technographics, and web data. They also have 3 different delivery methods: APIs, bulk datasets, and webhooks. And webhook, it's the one that we're mentioning here because it works like a voucher API. So it's a webhook-based endpoint where you set watches on people and companies. With CrustData, you get notifications when something happens with that list. When it comes to coverage, CrustData states that they have over 60 million companies and over 1 billion people profiles. Let's have a look at how the benchmarks look like. The methodology is same here again. They submitted 349 domains to CrustData's Enrichment API, and CrustData only returned 135 out of total, which makes them sit at the last position with approximately 40% find rate. On pricing, every provider in this video follows a different strategy. CoreSignal and CompanyEnrich offers different packages for different values. People Data Labs offers 2 category subscriptions for people and company data needs. And on the other hand, CrustData offers no self-service subscription packages, but it requires you to fill out a form to get an access by understanding which service you are interested in. The fourth and the last alternative is Apollo, which is probably most of us is very familiar and the one that actually different from the others we already covered. Why I'm saying this is that because Apollo isn't a pure data API like the others. It's more like a full GTM platform, prospecting a database, email finder, sequencer, etc., etc. But they have an API layer on top of that. So that's why I wanted to add Apollo in this list. On the API side, Apollo provides enrichment APIs for people and organizations, which means companies, and with search, it again comes with people and organizations. You can also get job postings like you can do with CrustData for the organizations. And on top of that, it provides email enrichment, mobile phone enrichment, and more. Apollo states that they have 220 million B2B contacts and 30 million companies with the strongest coverage in the US. They themselves note that non-US accuracy drop around 60%. When it comes to emails, Apollo also claims that 91% email accuracy, but according to independent testings, G2 reviews, the reports say 65 to 80% accuracy in emails. We can also evaluate Apollo's company enrichment API performance based on the benchmark. Apollo could enrich 215 out of 349 submitted domains, which means that it sits at 61% find rate following CompanyEnrich. Apollo is the only provider in this list with seat-based ladder. You can choose between different packages, but by solution that you need. For the API enrichment access, it has different limits per minute, per hour, and day based on the package that you choose. So if you only need data APIs, not fully a platform at all, you might be paying for seats that you're not going to use at all. That's the opposite of the other providers in this list, like CompanyEnrich, PDL, and CoreSignals, where you only pay for the data and nothing else. Let's wrap things up. If you want one API provider covering both companies and people with verified data and a wide endpoint suite, CompanyEnrich is the cleanest alternative to CoreSignal. They have the same scope. CompanyEnrich has much higher find rates and more affordable pricing. Other platforms in the list can be also good alternative to CoreSignal based on different needs. If you're already using CoreSignal's job posting data, you might want to try PDLs. Or if you're building event-based workflows, you can choose CrustData for its webhook events. If you're using any of the providers in this list, I'm happy to hear in the comments how you use them and how you find their coverage, endpoints, and pricing. See you in the next video. Bye!